welcome back to my channel. Today's video I wanted to kind of do a more educational topic because I've kind of been just dwelling on Narnar and Miriku a little bit lately, and I wanted to, as a way to keep them alive on this channel and just in my heart, they'll always be alive in my heart, but to just use their stories as an educational purpose. So I wanted to talk about 5 essentials or 5 must-haves for sick or old ferrets. The first essential item I want to talk about is syringes. Syringes are pretty much a given no matter what if you have a sick ferret. Syringes are most commonly used for measuring out medications, and most medications for ferrets are in liquid form. So for example, for Narnar and Miriku and Jinx and Kirito, they all got prednisolone twice. Nar got it twice, or once in the morning, once at night, and Jinxie and Kirito get it in the morning, and Miriku also got it when they thought he had insulinoma, but it turned out to be high-grade lymphoma. But they got prednisolone, and the way that I measured it out was obviously by syringe, and then I would just put it into their food and mix it up, or you could just administer it orally into their mouths right away without mixing it into food. But syringes are absolutely essential. You can get them, I get them, obviously the doctor or the vet gives you syringes typically when they'll administer the medication, or like give you the medication to take home, but I also like to just get extra ones on Amazon because I don't like to keep reusing them, and Amazon has like a million sizes you can choose from. And then another use for syringes is if you have to syringe feed. If your ferret is very ill and not doing well or just not eating, you may have to syringe feed them or syringe them fluids. So that is why I like to have other options and sizes as opposed to just the 1 milliliter ones that don't hold very much. Those are good for like dosing medication, but you want to have larger syringes in case you need to administer like soft food or just grinds, whatever you're feeding, soup, meat soup, whatever you need to, if you need to syringe feed them. So they're just always great to have around just in case of an emergency. The next thing I want to talk about is a heating pad. So I personally do not use the heating pads that plug into the wall and have wires going throughout them because I've just heard horror stories about them burning. They can either get too high, burn out the circuit, just burn the animal themselves, or also just stop working. There's just a million issues that you could have with those. So I actually found these ones at Amazon that I love. I keep one in the pink carrier that they like to sleep in. It's a self-heating pad, so it heats through their body heat. Like it warms up as their body heat is on it, and I really like those, and it works too. Like Jinxie loves to sleep on it, and I'll feel my hand, I'll put my hand underneath her and just feel the pad thingy while after she's been laying on it, and it's like significantly warmer. So I much prefer those that heat with their own body heat because you never have to worry about them overheating and burning them. So I think that it's definitely an essential to have at home just in case your ferret is sick with anything. If they're cold, they're shivering, you just want to help regulate their body temperature, you can just place them on this heating pad or this mat, or you can put it somewhere that they like to sleep. You can put it in their cage, you can put it really anywhere, and I have only had good results or good experiences with this one, so I will put it up on the screen here, the one that I use. The next essential item I want to talk about is carnivore care. I actually still have one right here. This is the one that Kirito had when he was at the emergency room or the emergency vet for 3 nights when he had suspected ECE, and he just was not eating, and I could not get him to eat at home. That's another time I had to use the syringes. I had to syringe feed him. He just completely lost his appetite. He was losing a ton of fluids, so they gave him carnivore care at the vet. And so basically what it is, it's just, I'll literally just read what it says. It's a nutritionally complete, versatile assist feeding formula, and the ingredients are dried whole egg, dried chicken, fish oil, and then they just have a bunch of vitamins and minerals, nutrients, and just additives and stuff like that. Obviously this isn't like their main diet, but it is great to have just in case you need to get them to start eating. It's a powder, it comes in a powdered form, and you just mix it with some warm water, and I've had also great results with this. I honestly think that this is what helped save Kirito's life when he was in the emergency room, because the only other thing they were offering to him was Wysong, like just kibble, and at that point he'd been on raw for almost a year and he just wasn't taking to it at all. So the fact that they had this and mixed it with some warm water is always like enticing to them anyway, in my experience. If you mix anything with warm water, they'll be more prone to eat it. But carnivore care is just great at kickstarting everything again, and it's great to have around the house too, in case you notice that your ferret like is lacking appetite at home and you start to see that they're acting lethargic. Maybe you can't get them to the vet right away within a few hours or days, I don't know, and you just need to make sure you can get something in their system. You can mix carnivore care with warm water, and if you needed to syringe feed it, which is you could use the syringes for, you could syringe feed them gently in their mouth. Don't just shoot it in the back of their throat, just gently. You can kind of hold them and just like kind of like put it on the side of their mouth and slowly, that's how you would syringe feed them. And it is just a great thing to have. You can get it on Amazon. I got actually another packet just in case on Amazon. I'm sure there's other places you can get it, order it online as well, but yeah, it's definitely just something good to have around the house as well. It's a much better alternative to like that stupid Uncle Jim's duck soup, whatever, that you can get at like the pet store that Marshall's sells. I much prefer carnivore care. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is this Caro, I think I'm saying it right, Caro syrup. This is actually corn syrup. This is not to be used in any other circumstance other than an emergency. If your ferret has insulinoma and they are going into having a seizure, and if they're just so out of it, you can put the tiniest bit of this corn syrup onto their gums, and it'll increase their blood glucose, blood sugar just immediately. It'll give a spike in their blood glucose and hopefully take them out of the seizure and just their extremely low blood glucose levels at that time. But do not give this in excess, and do not give it unless they have insulinoma and you're noticing one of these episodes, because if you give this beforehand, you will actually potentially cause the insulinoma, and you do not want that. So this is only to be used in an absolute emergency. If your ferret is having an insulinoma seizure or is just extremely out of it and you notice that they have an extreme dip in their blood glucose level, you can use this, just the tiniest bit, rub it on their gums, and you can hopefully bring them out of that. So again, only use it in an emergency situation. It's just good to have lying around. Hopefully you never have to use it, but just in case, it is just always good. It's cheap too, so I mean, it's just always good to have just in case. Last but not least, this is actually one of my favorite things to keep around, is none other than chicken baby food. The only ingredients are chicken, and they do have some starchy ingredients, so this is not to be given other than an emergency. It is not a staple part of their diet, obviously, at all. However, if your ferret is not eating, or you need to get them to take something, I don't know, if it's a medication or something, and you need to mix it in and you have to take them to the vet right away and you just have to get something in their system, I've had great experiences with chicken baby food. They really like it, and honestly, when Nar was really nearing the end, this was the only thing that he would eat before I had to make the awful decision to have a vet come to my house that morning. But yeah, this was the only thing he would eat. He completely lost his appetite the few days before, and I just couldn't see him, waste away even more. So I found that he liked the chicken baby food, and that was one of the only things he would eat. So it is just something to have around. Same with Kirito, actually. Right after he got out of the hospital, when he was there for a few days with the suspected ECE, he wouldn't touch his grinds, so I mixed like a teaspoon, or maybe like a tablespoon, then a teaspoon of chicken baby food into his grinds, and he took to it right away and ate all of it, and then I just decreased the amount, and then before you knew it, he was back eating his grinds again. So it's also super cheap. You can find it like anywhere, so chicken baby food is definitely something I recommend keeping around just in an emergency situation. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I really hope that these tips helped you guys. The majority of them are not to be used other than in an emergency, but they're just something that I always find super important to keep around, because you never know when, God forbid, you will run into an emergency. I mean, these guys have always kept me on my toes with things that are happening to them, especially as they get older. So I really think, what's the harm? Especially the majority of these items, if not actually all of these items, are not very expensive. Like, every single item that I listed total probably comes out to less than like $40 for all 5 of them. So why not? And they last you like multiple uses, so why not spend $40 and just have these essentials in your house just in case of an emergency? So yeah, I really hope that this helped you guys, and I will be hopefully making more positive videos in the future, but no promises. All right, love you guys. Thank you for your support as always. I will see you guys next time. Bye.